The Wadiyar, Wadiyar or Odeyer, dynasty was an Indian Hindu dynasty that ruled the Kingdom of Mysore from 1399 to 1761 and from 1799 to 1947. The kingdom was incorporated into the Dominion of India after its independence from British rule. Name: in Canada, the word Wodeyer means lord, or lordship. Historical records use the term a Eurocubed Odeyer a Eurocubed when referencing the dynasty's royal family members. The a Eurocubed wa Eurocubed is silent. In more modern Canada transliteration, the variation a Eurocubed Odeyer a Eurocubed is also used. History: the origin of Wadiyars is traced to Yadavas of Dwarka in Gujarat, who came to Karnataka and seeing beauty of the place made Mysore their abode. The Yadavas then ruled over the area for 600 years. The dynasty was established in 1399 by Wadiyar Wodeyer. He ruled Mysore under the Vijayanagara Empire until 1423. After Wadiyar Wodeyer, the Mysore kingdom was succeeded by the Wodeyer rulers. The kingdom remained fairly small during this early period and was a part of the Vijayanagara Empire. After the fall of the Vijayanagara Empire in 1565, the Kingdom of Mysore became independent and remained so until 1799. During the reign of Krishnaraja Wodeyer III, the region came under the control of the British Empire. His successors changed the English spelling of their royal name to Wodeyer and took the title of Baja. The last two monarchs of the dynasty, Krishnaraja Wodeyer IV and Jaichamarajendra Wodeyer, also accepted the British Decoration Knight Grand Cross of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire. Expansion: the Vijayanagara Empire disintegrated in 1565. The power vacuum created soon after was exploited by Raja Wodeyer. He expanded the borders of the Mysore kingdom and in 1610 changed the capital city from Mysore to Srirangapatna, a rare island formed by the river Kaveri, which provided natural protection against military attacks. Later famous rulers of the dynasty included Kantharava Narasarajawan, who expanded the frontiers of the Mysore kingdom to Trichy in Tamil Nadu. The dynasty reached its peak under Chikadeva Raja, who reformed the administration of the empire by dividing it into 18 departments, and he also introduced a coherent system of taxation. From 1760 to 1799, the rule of the dynasty was essentially nominal, with real power in the hands of the Dalwai, or commanders-in-chief, Hyder Ali and his son Tipu Sultan, who expanded the kingdom aggressively, but clashed with the East India Company. After Tipu Sultan was killed by the British in the Battle of Srirangapatna in 1799, the Wadiyars were restored to a reduced kingdom. British rule. After restoring the Wadiyars to the throne of Mysore, the British shifted the capital back to the city of Mysore from Srirangapatna. The 4-year-old boy Krishnaraja Wodeyer III, son of the last Wodeyer king, Kasa Kamraja Wodeyer VIII, was anointed as the king of Mysore. Wadiyars were now subsidiaries of the British Raj and had to pay an annual subsidy to the British. However, the British took over the administration of the kingdom on a specious plea of non-payment of the subsidy by Mahmudi Krishnaraja Wodeyer in 1831, and British-appointed commissioners were then in charge of the kingdom. British commissioners administered Mysore from 1831 to 1881. Mark Cubbon and L.B. Baring are among the well-known commissioners of the period. In 1868, the British Parliament heeded the King's plea and decided to restore the kingdom to his adopted son Kamaraja Wodeyer IX. In 1881, the transfer of power back to the Wadiyars heralded an important phase in the making of modern Mysore. For the first time in India, democratic experiments were introduced by the establishment of a representative assembly. The next king, Nalvadi Krishnaraja Wodeyer, earned great fame as a saintly King Rajarishi, and his kingdom was hailed as Ramaraya by Mahatma Gandhi as an ideal kingdom comparable to the one ruled by the historical hero Lord Rama. Under British hegemony, the Wadiyars, freed from security concerns, shifted their attention to the patronage of the fine arts. They made Mysore a cultural centre of Karnataka, fostering a number of famous musicians, writers and painters. The last king of the Wodeyer dynasty was Jaichamarajendra Wodeyer, who ruled from 1940 until Indian independence from British rule. In the year 1947, After India attained independence, he ceded his kingdom to the Dominion of India, but continued as the Maharaja until India became a republic in 1950. He became the Raja Pramukha a constitutional position as the head of Mysore state in the Republic of India from 1950 1956. After the reorganisation of the Indian states on a linguistic basis, he was appointed governor of the integrated Mysore state in 1956 and held the post until 1964. Then he was governor of Madras state for 2 years. The Indian constitution continued to recognise him as the Maharaja of Mysore, until 1971, when Mrs. Indira Gandhi, then Prime Minister of India, abolished the titles and privy purse of over 560 Maharajas. The Maharaja died in 1974. His only son, Srikanta Datta Narasimha Raja Wodeyer, was a member of the Indian Parliament for many years. Wodeyer rulers of Mysore, Wadiyar, Hiriya Bhattad Raja Wodeyer I, Thim Raja Wodeyer I, Hiriya Raja Wodeyer II, Hiriya Bhattad Raja III Wodeyer, Thim Raja Wodeyer II, Bolakam Raja Wodeyer IV, Bhattad Raja Wodeyer V, 1576 euro 1578, Raja Wodeyer I Raja Wodeyer VI. Raja Wodeyer II, reigned Hira Kanthirava, Narasa Raja Wodeyer I, Doda Deva Raja Wodeyer, Chika Deva Raja Wodeyer, Narasa Raja Wodeyer II, Doda Krishna Raja Wodeyer I, Kamraja Wodeyer VII, Imadi, Krishna Raja Wodeyer II, Nanada Raja Wodeyer, Bhattad Raja Wodeyer VIII, Kasa Raja Wodeyer IX, Krishna Raja Wodeyer III, Kamarajendra Wodeyer X, Vani Vilosanadena, Queen of Kamarajendra Wodeyer X, was regent from 1894 1902. Krishna Raja Wodeyer IV, Jaichamarajendra Wodeyer Rajramukh of Mysore state, Governor of Mysore state, Governor of Madras state, recognized as Maharaja of Mysore by the 26th Amendment to the Constitution in 1971. Died on September 23, 1974. Prince Srikanta Datta Narasimha Raja Wodeyer, Yaduvir Krishna Datta Raja Wodeyer. Curse on Wadiyars. A curse has believed to be casted on the Wodeyer in 1612 by Alamalama, wife King Tirumala Raja, whose Vijayanagara empire was taken over by Raja Wodeyer. It is believed when her jewels were being taken under the orders of the Wodeyer ruler, she ran over to a cliff overlooking the Kaveri River, cursed before jumping to death. A Oe Talakad Maralogi, Malangi Maduvigoli, Misuru Rasaraj Makalaga Duralia 400. Since the Wodeyer dynasty never had any children alternate generation, when a king is adopted. Much of Talakad lies under sand, and Malangi village in present Mysore district is getting slowly eroded due to whirlpools. The Mysore kingdom, founded by Wadiyar in the year 1399, consisted of only the areas surrounding the present Mysore city. In fact, the original fort was supposed to have been at a place known as Hardadana now a small village on the southern side of Kamundi Hill. The Wadiyars, like all others at that time, were under the suzerainty of the Vijayanagar Empire. The viceroy of the Vijayanagar kingdom was headquartered at Srirangapatna. Under Wadiyar, the Wadiyars increased their influence and territory over the next 200 years. Raja Wodeyer, the ninth ruler of the dynasty, was known for his valor and patronage of art and culture. He ruled from 1578 to 1617. In 1610, he conquered the fort of Srirangapatna from Tirumala, then viceroy of Vijayanagar. Tirumala is said to have retired to Talakad along with his 2 wives. One of them, Alamalama, was a staunch devotee of Sri Ranganayaki, the consort of Sri Ranganatha, the presiding deity of the famous Odeyer temple in the island fortress of Srirangapatna. Tirumala suffered from a deadly disease on his back known as the disease of the kings. The condition of Tirumala deteriorated and he died. Alamalama had a large amount of precious jewelry, including a fine nose ring studded with a large pearl. As a widow she had no further use for these jewels. She donated the jewels to the temple of Sri Ranganayaki. Every Friday and Tuesday Sri Ranganayaki was decorated with a large pearl-studded nose ring and other precious jewelry, which was put into the safe custody of Alamalama the rest of the week, since she was known to be a staunch devotee of Sri Ranganayaki. The temple authorities requested Raja Wodeyer to give them the custody of the jewels, as was the normal practice. The treasury officials informed the king of these facts. Raja Wodeyer thought these jewels were of no value to Alamalama, as she was now a widow and no longer needed them. Raja Wodeyer sent emissaries to Malangi, where Alamalama was staying, with a request to return the jewels. Only the pearl-studded nose ring was returned to Alamalama. Raja Wodeyer then sent his army to Talakad to ask her once again and, if she refused, to seize them by force. To escape the wrath of the Mysore army, Alamalama uttered the legendary curse on Raja Wodeyer and jumped into a whirlpool in the river Kaveri at Talakad with the rest of the jewels, but escaped unscathed. The curse, as passed down in folklore over the last 400 years is, hearing of this extreme step taken by Alamalama, Raja Wodeyer was truly repentant. He wanted to return the jewelry to the temple and not confiscate it for his own use. In his grief he had an idol of Alamalama made in gold, installed it in the palace, and worshipped it as a deity. A remnant of her hair was also preserved in a box. Even to this day Alamalama unregistered trademark S idol can be found inside the Mysore palace and is worshipped by the royal family. One can see the same huge pearl nose stud adorning both the goddess Ranganayaki and Alamalama today. The Dasara festivities inside the palace end on the evening of Navaratri with a formal puja to Alamalama, and the kankana worn by the royal couple is removed thereafter, paving the way for the Vijayadashami Sami puja the next day. For these 9 days the royal couple are required to stay inside the precincts of the palace. Another very interesting part of the story is that this Alamalama temple is under the care of the legal heirs of Alamalama, and they still live inside the Mysore palace fort. Strangely, even these priests' caretakers appear to be cursed, and they do not beget children and follow the same pattern afflicting the Wadiyars. The curse from the time of Raja Wodeyer, after shifting to Srirangapatna, Raja Wodeyer is credited with holding the famous Dasara festivities for the first time in 1610. His only surviving son, Naras Raja Wodeyer, died just a day before the commencement of Navaratri, but the king, after consulting experts, laid down the rule that the celebration of the ceremonies was not to be interrupted even by the death of members of the royal family. Raja Wodeyer was a devotee of Vaishnavat, and he donated the famous bejeweled crown to the Lord Kiluvarai Asvami of Melkote that is a feature of the Raja Modikar festival even today. This is in contrary to his own lineage, as the Wadiyars regarded the temple of Kaliguri Lakshmi Narasimha as their household deity. The mere fact that all the Wadiyars end their names by Narasimha Raja Wodeyer stands testimony to what was previously stated. This crown was confiscated from the royal family by the Karnataka government during an emergency. Legend has it that Raja Wodeyer, having entered the Garbhogyraha of Kiluvarai Asvami temple on June 20, 1617, became one with the deity. Even today one can find a Baksai Vigraha of the king inside the temple. Another Baksai Vigraha of the king can be found inside the Lakshmi Narayana Asvami temple inside the Mysore Palace fort. Malangi and Talakad are two small towns near Tumakudalu Narasapura on the banks of the Kaveri where the river takes a bend. Talakad's temples lie buried in the vast expanse of sand and are dug up and exposed every 12 years. At Malangi, on the other hand, the river is at its deepest. Whether these phenomena appeared only after Alamalama's curse in 1610 is a matter of conjecture. What can be stated with certainty is that the curse on the royal family seems to have come true. From Raja Wadiyar unregistered trademark S death in 1617 to that of Chikadeva Raja Wodeyer in 1704, the kingdom was ruled by the surviving descendants of Wadiyar, but none could beget legal heirs. Incidentally, Chikadeva Raja Wodeyer is credited with the composition of Gita Gopala, an opera in Canada. The sole exception to the curse was Chikadeva Raja's deaf and mute son Kantharava Narasa Raja Wodeyer II, also known as Mukarasu. He was succeeded by his son Dodda Krishna Raja Wodeyer, who ruled from 1714 to 1732. With him Wadiyar unregistered trademark S direct lineage came to an end. What followed was a succession of nominal rulers adopted by the surviving queens to continue the tradition. Traditional army commanders known as Dalvois virtually ruled the kingdom and paved the way for the ascendancy of a foot soldier like Hyder Ali by 1762. There were 5 rulers from 1732 to 1796. In this period a definite pattern emerged under which no natural heir to the throne born to a king could beget children, whereas one who became king by virtue of adoption or other indirect inheritance was blessed with a legal heir. Hyder and Tipu continued the tradition of having a nominal Wodeyer king on the throne, and even the Dasra celebrations continued as usual. After the famous Fourth Anglo-Mysore War and the death of Tipu Sultan, a British army, in which the legendary Arthur Wellesley was serving, conquered Srirangapatna in 1799. See also, Kingdom of Mysore, Mysore State, Hyderabad State, Baroda State, Gwalior State, Karnataka, Mysore, Talakad, Srirangapatna. See Haravardhana Rao. Notes. External links: The Wadiyars of Mysore, History of Mysore. Wadiyars, Mysore, a Euro-imperial city of Karnataka, Genealogy of the Wodeyer dynasty, Curse on Wadiyars, documenting a legend, Curse on Wadiyars, oral traditions. Legend and history, coins of the Wadiyars, Sri Kanti Arava Narasa Maharaja Wodeyer, the Wodeyer/Wodeyer dynasty.